I never thought I'd be the type to sit down and write one of these stories. I always thought they were exaggerated or fake, people coming up with dramatic stuff just to get attention or karma. But here I am, typing this all out. Because honestly, I do not even know how to feel anymore. Maybe some of you strangers will have better insight than I do. Okay, so for context, I have been part of my family's business for almost 20 years. My dad started it from scratch in the 80s. It's a mid-sized tech consulting firm, not flashy like Silicon Valley stuff, but steady, profitable, and built around actual results. I joined when I was in my 20s and worked my way up through almost every department. I'm now in my mid-40s, and until recently, I was the company's head of innovation, and that used to mean something. First thing you need to know is that my dad is one of those move fast and trust your gut kinds of people. He believes a new face or a young energy is always the answer. So when he married his new wife, after my mom passed, he got a new stepson in the process. Let's call him Travis. Travis is in his mid-20s. He has a flashy Instagram lifestyle, lots of vague entrepreneur captions, and has cycled through about 4 different career paths in the last 5 years. I did not dislike him at first. I barely knew him. We only interacted at family gatherings, and even then, he was usually on his phone, trying to be too cool to engage with anyone. But one day, out of nowhere, Dad called a company-wide meeting and proudly announced that Travis was joining the company. And not just as an intern or something junior, he was being brought in as a creative consultant for future strategy, whatever that meant. Dad said we needed fresh blood, someone who understood the current generation and where the world was going. I remember blinking at the announcement like I'd just been smacked in the face. No experience, no credentials, no background in what we do, but somehow Travis was going to revolutionize us. Fine, I figured it would be a few awkward meetings, a few cringy attempts at buzzwords, and he'd get bored and quit. But that's not what happened. Instead, something weirder did. It started with the project briefs. I'd present an idea during our weekly meetings, usually after spending a week researching, building strategy docs, outlining the logistics, and somehow Travis would already have a version of the idea in his slides. Sometimes with the exact same phrasing, like word for word. At first I thought it was just coincidence. Maybe we were overlapping, maybe we had the same thoughts, but then it kept happening. Then it started happening before I even pitched anything. I'd walk into a meeting and Travis would proudly show off an original pitch. And it would be my idea, something I'd been drafting privately the night before. Sometimes I hadn't even saved the final version to our shared drives. Still, there it was, repackaged in Canva with some hipster font and a stock photo of a skateboarder. I started to feel paranoid. Was I leaking? Did someone I trusted share my drafts with him? But then I noticed something. Every time I stepped away from my work laptop, even for a break, it would randomly restart when I came back. I set up some basic tracking software. Nothing illegal, just basic logs and IP monitoring. And yep, he was logging into my system after I'd left for the day, not just once. Regularly, accessing my local files, sometimes emailing stuff to himself using a dummy email that he deleted all traces of, or so he thought. That's when it clicked. Travis was not some genius innovator. He was just ripping off everything I was doing and presenting it to Dad first, who, of course, thought his stepson was a visionary prodigy. Travis would drop a few Gen Z terms and talk about disruption, and Dad would eat it up like candy. Worse, Dad started acting cold towards me. telling me I was falling behind and resisting change. He started sidelining me in meetings, saying I was too old school. One day he even said I was lucky to still be here, and that maybe it was time for me to rethink my role. That was the moment I snapped. Not visibly, not emotionally, but in my head. I snapped. If they thought Travis was the idea machine behind our success, fine. I decided to let him run with it, literally. I created a new folder on my desktop, Top Strategy 2024, left it wide open. Inside, I started uploading deliberately terrible ideas like cartoonishly bad, nonsense buzzwords, pointless tech pivots, fake trends that sounded just believable enough to trick someone with no real understanding. Stuff like replacing all client communication with AI avatars that matched their star signs. A monthly subscription service for clients to rent NFTs of our old logos. Renaming our company to a single emoji for brand disruption. Switching all internal operations to a blockchain platform I invented and named Trustzilla. A campaign to print QR codes on helium balloons and release them over cities with no tracking system. You get the idea. The kind of ideas that any halfway competent person would raise an eyebrow at. But of course, Travis started stealing these, packaging them up and pitching them with his usual cocky swagger. Dad loved them. They were bold, next level, daring. I watched, amazed as one by one, these absolutely insane ideas started getting implemented. We alienated 3 major clients within the first 2 months. Staff turnover hit record highs. Our infrastructure went to hell because of the Trustzilla rollout. Even our company branding tanked after the emoji rebranding attempt, which turned out to be an eggplant emoji. Long story. Every single time I warned Dad or tried to offer input, he brushed me off, said I was fearful and stuck in the past. Travis, meanwhile, kept popping up in industry blogs as the young disruptor leading our new direction, and I just let it happen. I kept feeding more bad ideas into that folder. I treated it like performance art, a slow-motion train wreck where every piece of wreckage was my own invention. 6 months later, the company is in shambles. I'm not exaggerating. Revenue is down almost 70%. Our biggest client dropped us and took their entire yearly budget elsewhere. Our staff morale is rock bottom. We've been roasted on Twitter, LinkedIn, and even got a satirical article written about us on some business humor blog. And now, surprise, surprise, Dad finally pulled me aside last week. No smug tone, no power trip, just a tired, broken man asking, "Can you help us figure out what went wrong?" I didn't say anything, I just looked at him. He still does not know, and neither of them do. They genuinely believed Travis was the genius, and I was the outdated one holding the company back. Even now, Dad thinks I'm some kind of savior that can magically fix things without acknowledging how or why things got so bad. I had been sitting with this for a few days. I kept thinking, should I come clean? Should I tell him I orchestrated the whole collapse? Should I explain how Travis was hacking my system and stealing ideas? Should I point out the irony of him ignoring me while celebrating the very ideas that are now bankrupting him? I don't know. Part of me wants to throw them both under the bus, expose the whole thing, walk away and watch the ruins smolder. But another part of me feels conflicted. This company has my blood, sweat, and years. My dad may be blind and arrogant, but he's still my dad, and a lot of people, good people, work there and do not deserve this. So yeah, that's the story. I played the long game. I baited the trap. They walked straight into it, and now they're asking me to fix the thing they destroyed with my fake ideas, which they stole and paraded as brilliant. AITA? If I just do not help? Update 1. A lot has happened since my original post. And yes, I went back. Sort of. Let me explain. So after Dad came to me with his sad little "what went wrong" speech, I let him sweat for a bit. I did not say yes, did not say no. I told him I needed time. I was not trying to be dramatic. I just honestly was not sure if I could walk back into that company without throwing a stapler through a wall. Or at Travis. But then Travis did the dumbest thing he's done yet. Dumber than the helium balloon QR code idea. Dumber than the emoji branding fiasco. He posted a video. Yes. A TikTok of him crying shirtless over how hard it is to be a misunderstood visionary. In the background, our office, papers everywhere, empty desks, literal chaos, and this dude is fake crying like he's the last soldier in a burning building, talking about how haters try to tear him down and how older generations fear change. It got ratioed into the stratosphere. Clients saw it, competitors saw it, even former employees were tagging each other in the comments like, "This is who they fired us for?" And "he stole my coffee mug and my ideas." So yeah, I decided it was time, but not to help. I walked into the office, or what was left of it, and it was like stepping into a post-apocalyptic tech startup. Desks abandoned mid-project, half the staff gone, everyone looked like they'd aged 5 years, and Travis? He tried to pretend everything was fine, gave me a little smirk like we were co-conspirators. I did not even acknowledge him. Instead, I went straight into the boardroom where Dad and the remaining execs were waiting. They looked like they'd been living off caffeine and shame for 3 months. Dad gave me this hopeful little nod like, "Here comes the prodigal son to save the day." I did not sit down. I opened my laptop, plugged into the projector and said, "Before I agree to anything, you need to understand what happened." Then I played the folder. Yep, the folder, the top strategy 2024 one, filled with my fake ideas. Each one with timestamps drafted by me, never shared on company drives, all accessed from my PC after hours. I show them the activity logs, IP matches, login times, a dummy email used to send files, and finally, the piece de resistance, a screen recording of one of Travis's remote logins I'd secretly captured, where he literally drags one of my strategy documents into his own folder while listening to dubstep. Silence. Dad looked like someone had hit him with a frying pan made of betrayal. Travis? White as a ghost. Could not even deny it. Just stuttered something about collaborative culture and ideation overlap, which did not land because he was caught red-handed. Then I dropped the final bomb. I told them I knew the ideas were trash, that I planted them intentionally because I realized what was going on and I wanted to see how far it would go, and that the only reason the company was falling apart was because they believed in garbage dressed up as disruption. The room was dead quiet. One executive actually laughed, not a happy laugh, more like, "I need a drink" laugh. I told him I was not coming back. Not to save anyone, not to clean up the mess, not to babysit a wannabe tech messiah who could not spell algorithm. But here's where it gets spicy. I offered one thing, a buyout. I told Dad I'd walk away permanently, no lawsuits, no public scandal, no more bombshell folder reveals. In exchange for a full cash buyout of my shares, a signed statement of Travis's misconduct and a public correction of the narrative they pushed for months. No, we mutually agreed. No creative differences. I wanted them to own the mess they made. They agreed. Well, Dad did. Travis tried to protest until I reminded him I had enough material to kill his credibility for life, including a note I found where he tried to copyright idea theft as a consulting model. Yes, really. The papers are being drawn up. I'm out. Clean. Done. But the best part, since that day, Travis's little influencer world has crumbled. People know now. The video of my boardroom presentation leaked. I did not do it, but someone on the inside clearly wanted justice. I'm free now. No more fake brainstorming sessions, no more forced synergy workshops, no more watching my dad act like he's found the second coming of jobs because some guy put a filter on a Google Doc. I have got a few consulting offers already. Might take one, might just disappear for a while. Either way, I have got closure and maybe a little revenge. Update 2. So remember how I said I was done? Walked away clean, took the buyout, got my receipts, finally felt like the smoke had cleared? Yeah, about that. Turns out when a man like Travis gets exposed, humiliated, memed to death, and publicly ousted by his own stolen ideas, he does not just fade away quietly. No, he panics. And when panicking fails, he schemes. Fast forward to last Friday. I get a knock at my door. 2 people from the IRS. Not joking. Not a metaphor. Real agents. Real badges. They say they're doing a preliminary inquiry into some irregularities in the company's recent tax filings. Apparently someone, Travis, submitted an anonymous tip that I may have misused company resources for personal gain and sold proprietary strategy documents externally. The cherry on top, he told them I planted malware on my own work computer to frame him. I just sat there blinking like someone hit me with a snow shovel made of pure audacity. To be clear, I have nothing to hide. My laptop was company issued, but it was monitored and regularly backed up. IT logs confirmed everything I did, and the documents I sold externally, they were the same trash ideas that bankrupted the company. But what Travis is trying to do is frame me as some bitter ex-employee who sabotaged the business for revenge. He's spinning a new narrative that I was jealous of him. I planted fake ideas to cause failure, and he was just trying to protect the vision. I should have seen it coming. Narcissists never just take the L. Luckily, I kept everything, logs, backups, even screenshots of Travis accessing my system remotely, some of which still show his desktop notifications popping up, one of which is from a crypto pump and dump Discord, which, yikes. And yes, I have now spoken to legal counsel, 2 actually. They both said the same thing. Travis is concerned and flailing, and this is likely a desperation move to shift blame. But here's the kicker. If he actually pushes this hard enough, he could expose the company to federal scrutiny, especially if he forged or altered internal documents to support his little theory. And guess whose name is still on some of those documents? Yep, mine. So now I'm not just out. I'm being dragged back in as a potential witness and a target of suspicion, even though I left clean. But the best part, word got back to my dad. Apparently Dad had no idea. Travis was making these accusations. He thought everything was finally cooling down. When he heard the IRS was sniffing around because of an anonymous tip with suspiciously familiar phrasing, he confronted Travis. Travis denied it. Then he tried to flip it again, claiming Dad was the one who greenlit the ideas without proper due diligence. And maybe Dad should share the blame too. From what I've heard, there was shouting, like full-on corporate soap opera shouting. I do not know where this ends, but what I do know is I am not letting this slime ball rewrite history and drag me down with him. So yeah, thought this was over? It's not. And honestly, if he keeps pushing, I might stop playing defense. I have still got a few cards he does not know I kept, personal ones, petty ones, very, very career-ending ones. Stay tuned. Update 3. Hey again. So last time I told you Travis was trying to frame me, IRS complaints, fake accusations, even trying to rewrite company history like he was the victim in some Netflix docu-series no one asked for. I said I had a few cards left to play. Let me introduce you to card number 1, Tess. Tess is Travis's ex. They dated for 2 years. She's sharp, petty, and most importantly, done with his BS. I met her once during a corporate function. Travis tried to pretend she was just there to network, but she spent the entire event holding his ego together like it was made of wet tissue paper. After the IRS nonsense, I sent a polite message. Just a, hey, not sure if you remember me, but Travis is trying to tank my entire reputation. Heard you two aren't on the best terms. If there's anything you ever wanted to share, now's the time. She called me within 5 minutes. Turns out Travis did not just lie, cheat, and gaslight her. He used her LinkedIn profile to fake consulting credentials for some of his pitch decks. Literally took her resume, changed the name, and cited her as a partner strategist on at least 2 proposals. She only found out when she applied for a real consulting gig and they flagged the overlap. Oh, and he owes her $7,200, stolen via her Venmo accidentally, linked to a shared Google Drive subscription he charged all his crypto losses to. So yeah, Tess had receipts. We got coffee. I brought a thumb drive. She brought 3. What followed was sublime. I scheduled a quiet private call with Dad and a few keyboard members, just a friendly, hey, in light of recent legal noise, I thought you should see something. I played a screen recording. Travis faking credentials using Tess's name. Travis bragging in a group chat about gaslighting the old man into thinking he invented the balloon campaign. Travis referring to my ideas, the fake ones, as boomer bait he fed to get ahead of the dinosaur. You could hear Dad's soul leave his body. But the icing, Tess. I let her join the call at the end. She introduced herself very sweetly and then said, "Hi, Mr. Dad's last name. I just wanted to personally confirm that Travis used my identity and stole money from me. Oh, and your son did not sabotage your business. Your stepson did, while wearing Yeezys and talking about vibes." Silence. Then Dad just said, "Jesus Christ." That was Friday. Monday morning, I got an email from an anonymous HR address. Travis has been suspended indefinitely pending internal review. By Tuesday, he'd gone private on all social media. By Wednesday, a mutual contact sent me a screenshot of Travis trying to apply for a brand consulting gig at a startup, only to be recognized from the fake strategist TikToks. Apparently, the hiring manager said, "Aren't you the eggplant emoji guy? Beautiful. Now I'm watching it all unfold with a beer and a grin. And Tess, she's considering small claims court. I offered to pay her filing fees. Not out of guilt, just out of sheer appreciation. Let Travis try another move. I dare him." Update 4. So, remember how Travis got suspended, went private on socials, and basically vanished from every tech bros group chat faster than crypto in a bear market? Well, I figured that was the end of it, but apparently Travis had one more card to play, and this man, folks, tried to main character his way out of ruin. Last week he resurfaced, not with an apology, not with silence, no. He booked a live segment on a local business news show, one of those half-serious, half-syndicated tech innovators under 30 interviews. Honestly, the producers probably thought they were getting a comeback story. A misunderstood disruptor with a redemption arc. They teased it for 2 days like it was the Oprah of B2B consulting. I only found out when someone sent me a clip of the promo. He built an empire, he lost it all, and now he's ready to set the record straight. This Thursday, meet Travis, the face of innovation and controversy. I choked on my coffee. Travis? Empire? I knew exactly what this was. His Hail Mary. a desperate attempt to polish the turd and spin himself as the poor visionary undermined by outdated leadership, probably hoping someone watching would feel bad enough to give him a podcast or a WeWork. And I was going to let it slide, I was, until I got wind of what he planned to say. A producer from the show, who I know through an old college friend, gave me the heads up. Travis had sent them a whole narrative. He trusted the wrong people. I had hacked him first. The company collapse was a result of sabotage from within. And, best of all, he had the data to prove it. He was going to slander me live on air with fabricated screenshots and a PowerPoint deck. I had about 24 hours, so I made a call, told my friend at the studio, look, if this segment airs as is, you are broadcasting libel. But I am going to make it real simple. I'm sending you something. Flash drive. Overnighted, no threats, no demands, just labeled the real Travis. Inside, the original activity logs from the internal IT team, the full timeline of his unauthorized logins to my computer, side-by-side comparisons of my fake strategy docs and his original pitches. The group chat screenshots, audio files. Oh yes, I forgot to mention, Tess had recordings. And, for the cherry on top, a 45-second clip of Travis bragging that he could piss in a PowerPoint and my dad would still fund it. The segment? Cancelled. Publicly. No explanation, just a quiet social media post that read, due to unexpected developments, this week's Innovators Under 30 episode has been postponed. Within 2 hours, Travis posted a vague story about corporate suppression and jealous gatekeepers. Comments were turned off. He hasn't posted since, and now? The studio sent me a thank you message. Turns out they really did not want to get sued for broadcasting manipulated content. They even offered me a chance to come on and tell my side of the story. I declined. No interest in TV. My story's already been told in court filings, boardroom meltdowns, and TikTok memes. I'm good. Update 5. So I honestly thought this saga was finally over. Travis has gone quiet. The TV segment got pulled and most people in our industry saw him for what he was. A clout-chasing fraud who burned a perfectly stable company with nothing but canvas slides and ego. I was done. I was clear. And for the first time in months, I was finally getting excited about the future, which is why this new twist hit harder than any of the others. I have been fielding offers for a few weeks, mostly consulting work, some exec-level roles at mid-sized firms. Nothing massive, but respectable positions with good people who reached out after hearing the full story, or at least the summarized, slightly sanitized version. I narrowed it down to one, a strategy director role at a very respected firm in the innovation space. Legit company, no crypto, no balloon QR codes, just solid, smart work. The interviews went great. I clicked with the team. Everything felt like a fresh start. Then I got a call from the hiring manager. He sounded awkward, apologetic. He said something had come up during final background checks, something that made their risk team uncomfortable. He paused and said, "There's a Reddit thread and a TikTok series. We know you did not post them, but they're about you. And we also came across a new deleted video from someone claiming you orchestrated a long con to sabotage your family business." I was stunned. Turns out someone, I am guessing Travis or one of his bottom-feeding friends, had uploaded a short documentary-style video on YouTube. It was taken down, probably flagged for defamation, but not before clips circulated. The video painted me as this puppet master, suggesting I faked the whole downfall and then posted about it for internet fame. They called it the strategist's revenge. Even worse. Some Gen Z edgelord made an AI-generated voiceover of me confessing to ruining the business out of spite. Pure fiction, but it sounded real enough to scare off risk-averse companies. The hiring manager said their legal team just was not comfortable moving forward right now. and encouraged me to clean up my digital presence. Clean up? What? Reality? It hit me hard. All this time I thought I was reclaiming power, telling my story, exposing truth, but in the process I also became a story. A messy one, a meme, a headline without context. And companies? They do not like mess. Does not matter if you're right. They just want boring. I'm not going to lie, I sat with that for a while, angry, embarrassed, wondering if I played it all wrong, wondering if letting it all burn really was the smartest move or just the most satisfying one. But here's the thing. I did not lie. I didn't fake anything. I didn't spin or post or monetize. I defended myself privately. I used real evidence, legal channels, and let facts speak. What Travis tried to do after, that's on him. Still, the damage is done, so now I'm taking a different route. No public-facing role, no corporate ladder. I am quietly starting a boutique consultancy with a couple of ex-colleagues, people who saw the whole thing firsthand and know exactly what happened. No press releases, no logos, just word-of-mouth work with people who care about outcomes, not optics. As for Travis, I have heard he's in Bali. Of course he is. Update 6. It's been a few months since the last update. Since then, things have quieted down. The boutique consultancy is real, growing, nimble, focused. I do not post about it. We advertise off screen, word gets around, and the clients who matter tend to find us. It's not flashy, but it's clean. No stolen decks, no pitch theater, just real work. I hadn't spoken to my dad since the whole fallout, not since the boardroom reveal, not since the IRS scare, not since Travis imploded in a swirl of AI voiceovers and delusional redemption arcs. Then last Friday, he showed up at my door. Not with Travis, not with a grand gesture, just slow cap, no speech, no, I should have listened, just a box. He looked older, like life had caught up with him in a way spreadsheets never did. For a second, I thought maybe he was sick, but no, it was just the kind of tiredness that sinks in when you finally stop believing your own stories. He handed me the box without saying anything. Inside were my old journals from the company, my idea books, scribbled concepts, old whiteboard photos he'd apparently kept. Also inside, a printed copy of the internal investigation report, the one that cleared my name. He'd highlighted a section. It read, all evidence points to unauthorized access of Mr. my last name, Machine. No misconduct was found on his part. Underneath, in his handwriting, just 2 words, I know. He stood there a moment longer like he wanted to say something but did not have the right tool for it. Eventually, he nodded and left. That's it, no apology, no redemption arc for him either. But weirdly, I did not need one. I think he knows he broke something and that no words would put it back together. That box was the closest thing he had to glue. And Travis? Radio silence. He never came back. The Bali rumor turned out to be true, apparently. He's trying to rebrand himself as a digital nomad strategist, complete with shirtless reels and crypto affirmations. Someone sent me a video of him leading a workshop in a hammock. I did not watch it. I do not need revenge anymore. I won. Not because I got rich, but I did. Not because I proved a point, but because I am finally living a life no one else is screwing with. And honestly, that's enough. Thanks to everyone who followed along through this absolute circus. It was never supposed to be a story, just my way of venting before moving on. I do not think I will be posting again. Real life's better. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.